All right, guys, welcome to what is it called again? Transforming clicks into clients. So, who is currently doing online lead generation? Yeah. Anyone else? You never been? What'd you do it through? I used to use the agent. Agent, okay. Wow. Yeah, exactly. That's who I use now. I used to be on Agent Locator as well. I'm using a little bit of Facebook and everything like that now too. Even the command side as well, which you'll have access to, which is pretty good. So we'll go over a few things here. So basically today we're going to look at understanding the online leads, strategies for lead capturing, nurturing leads, converting leads into clients, and then measuring and analyzing, and then some best practices. So I do want this to be more kind of back and forth as well. I could talk about my experience as well, the systems that I use to convert the leads. And then if anyone has questions, feel free to just reach out as well. All right, so digital presence. Most home buyers actually start their home search online, right? It's they're looking through realtor.ca or they're Googling homes in Kitchener, right? So that's why being on the online website, having like a Welopo or an agent locator, or even just like an IDX website is super crucial, right? Because they're going to be looking there first. Efficiency and reach. Online methods can target specific demographics more efficiently than traditional advertising. Expanding reach and improving lead quality. So when we're looking at that, it's like, can you retarget your database that you currently have or buyers that you currently brought in? So what I typically do is I have a retargeting budget. So anyone that's come through my online lead generation site, which is Welopo currently, I actually do a retargeting budget on that. So anything that's currently up, they're in the database, they're getting retargeted through ads on there. So what I get out of that is I see the act of someone coming on and they haven't been active for like 30 days or even 50 days. Then all of a sudden they see a home that they like and they click on it and they're back into my website, right? So the retargeting piece, that's how you build almost that brand piece. You keep people coming back into your website, which is what you want. Quick communication. So fast responsive to online inquiries can significantly boost the chances of converting leads into clients, as timely communication is often expected. I wouldn't say it's often expected. I would say it just increases your chance of actually converting. There's been times where if you connect under that 2-minute time period, you can literally, they're still on your website. They'll pick up the phone and they'll actually be surprised about you calling them so quickly, right? So I do that expectation is set for me and my team is it's calling that 5-minute time period. 5 minutes, yeah, yeah. And there is I think the Harvard Business Review did a study. I think it's like 2 minutes is key if you can have someone call. I don't have any ISAs or any of that aspect that the leads go to, but that would be an expectation. If it was during business hours, I'd be like all in 2 minutes. The competitive edge, again, agents adapt to converting online leads can distinguish themselves in a competitive marketplace, demonstrating the capability of technical, and they are technologically savvy. And cost effectiveness, digital marketing can be more cost effective, allowing for optimized spending on the most effective strategies. When I look at the cost effectiveness side, like I've actually moved away from, I've decreased my budget on the actual lead generation websites for 2 reasons. A, they always take a percentage off your budget that you have per month, right? So you're not getting, like, say you're spending $1,000, you're not getting a full $1,000 worth of leads. They're taking sometimes up to like 30% of that, right? And that's what their cost is to manage your ads, right? That agent locator was 35 or 36% at one point. That's why I left that. I don't know what Lopo is, but I did reduce my cost there, and I actually just supplement it with just straight up Facebook ads and home evaluation aspects on it, right?
How's that been so far since you made that switch?
Not bad. It's picking up now.
Yeah.
I find like over the winter it was quite slow, but we're picking up now, and more listing ads and stuff like that being retargeted as well. So I've pixeled everyone that comes onto our ads, and then we have more of an audience now that we can put the new ads in front of as well.
Would you have an idea? Sorry, is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you have an idea, like if you're putting $1,000 onto your Facebook ad, what type of return are you sort of seeing of that? Let's say, the amount of people clicking on it.
I'd say, like on Facebook, we're getting more ads. I wouldn't say that we're getting. We're not convinced a long-term play with the Facebook side because we're going to do a lot of looky-loos on Facebook, right? But we've posted about 2 so far this year on that aspect from retargeting side.
Are you doing about $1,000 on that?
No, I'm doing like $10 a day.
What's that?
Yeah, and that's for a listing ad. And then I have separate ones going with like home valuation ads. That'll be another $10 a day, right? I'll get into other stuff too today with like Google. I just set another Google My Business ad up. So it's a service awareness ad. So it actually just it literally just it marks your business, your Google business profile, right? So what do you get on there? You have all your business reviews, right? We have 62 5-star reviews. Like that piece getting out there, I find is more powerful, right? So I'm going to see how that one does. And that one I did again $10 a day, and I'm just gauging that for the next 3 weeks to see how it do, right? So it's a local service ad. It's called.
Thanks.
Yeah. So definition online leads. Online leads in real estate refer to potential clients who express interest in buying or selling and learning about potential opportunities through digital channels. So different types of leads. Obviously, there's real estate websites. So that's your white locals. That's your agent locators. You're like that even is a realtor.ca lead, right? Like if you guys have an active listing up, that's your most valuable lead right there, right? But you can't really advertise to that. You're not putting money into that to get more of those, right? So that's where I do put it on social media platforms, which is the next one. So when you have an active listing, you're taking that opportunity and getting it in front of as many people as possible. For an extra $10 a day, it's well worth it. Even yes, if you're on the market for 6 days, but it's well worth it if you can get another 3,000-4,000 eyes on the property, right? And if you're getting at least, I'd say about 20 to 40 leads out of that, you're doing pretty good. Email marketing campaigns. I'll go into that a little bit as well. What we do. So if anyone does a 36 touch, you're working with your database as well. Still an online lead. So what we do is we actually have Cloud CMA. Cloud CMA is the free home valuation software through our MLS. If you guys don't know what that is, take a look at it. Where it just has landing pages, and you can it actually will send a report. So we include that Cloud CMA link in every single email marketing that we send out to our database. So that's put in there, and it's highlighted as, hey, market has changed. That's with our market update every month as well. And typically, like I'd say we're getting about 10 to 15 per agent out of their databases of people that actually request a CMA for that, right? And the beauty of this is you don't need to sit down and do a 5-10 minute CMA out of that. You can actually it gets a report to them right off the bat. It doesn't give them a proper value, but it shows them what the neighboring houses are selling for. So if there's been homes that have sold in the neighborhood, they will see that value of what it went for as well. And then it's a call after that, right? So that gives you an opportunity to touch up. They've gotten the value. It's not like they've submitted their information, haven't gotten anything. They've gotten the value in their inbox. Now it's a call. Hey, what did you think? How do you feel about those prices? Do you feel it might be a little bit different? Okay, well, what's the purpose of you looking for your home value? And now I can book an appointment to come out and see you and get a little more in depth on it, or I can do a more purposeful CMA and get a proper value for you. Any questions around that?
How many deals would you say you've done off of those?
Off of the Cloud CMA stuff? Last 2, I bet you we've probably done like, I'd say 8 to 10 in the last 2 years. Yeah.
Totally worth it.
Oh yeah. I find it's an added piece, right? You gotta have purpose to the emails, right? And we've really built that up over the last 2 years. With video content for the stats and stuff like that, right? Graham and I started doing the videos together now, so we have a little more back and forth, and then layering it into like what happens on what's happened on the team, and any client wins with testimonials, and then this, and then what we do is send them to a link for buying as well. We just have that option. I find we don't get any leads from that aspect. It's more this side that we get.
Did you craft the CMA so it's branded to you guys and revise what it was that was presented?
Yeah, it's good. It's branded for sure, but like it can take. I think you can set the number of listings that it sends, and that's what I mean. It is an online service where you can't, unless you want to manually go in and choose. It will send kind of what's in the area, right? But that's the whole point for the call, right? Because then on the CRM, I've got an activity was hit, and then it goes in my activity bucket, and then I'm like, okay, anyone that's on this list has had activity in the last like 7 days, right? So then you can make a call and go from there. So online advertising, that's another one, and lead gen companies, which we kind of talked about already. We really talked about both of those. So characteristics of a high quality lead. So when you're looking at your online leads, if you have someone come in, look at, I don't know if you would, depending on what CRM you're using, we use Follow Up Boss as well. You have an activity point on your side. And if you have a pixel on your Follow Up Boss pixel on your website, you can actually see what they're looking at, right? So on my local account, I can see every single listing they've looked at. I can see when they've come back multiple times. I can see if they've looked at the About Us page. I could see if they've went onto my Van Leeuwen Realty Group website and looked at reviews and stuff like that, right? So high engagement is a big piece, right? If you get a lead and they've looked at one property and they're gone, that's probably someone that Googled or Facebook that literally saw the one property, went onto it for 2 seconds and then left, right? They put their information just to see the information and left. But if I find one that has high activity, I'm calling it first, right? Specificity of the inquiry. A lot of the times, if you're looking at your home valuation stuff, they've gotten that value too, but that's a high impact one to call on. Buyer wise, if they're looking at multiple homes throughout the day, it's going to be a higher, better quality lead. Readiness to act, you're going to determine that on the phone. Accurate and complete information. A lot of the times we do get bad numbers, right? People just put in bad numbers, or it just doesn't go anywhere. What we do is we can actually action a bad number campaign on there, and it'll be a series of emails over the next 8 weeks that'll prompt them back to the website. Once they get back on our website, it actually reactions them to put in a new phone number as well. Do you guys have that set up there too? No, because it will ask for it. If you put in bad number on follow-up boss, the YLocal will go. It'll actually prompt them to re-enter a new phone number as they go back onto the website. So that's worked as well. No, that's YLocal. That does that one. Yeah. Demographic fit. This one's a little harder to do. Like, I don't know if you guys know, Facebook kind of took away all of the changes you can make to your ads online when you're doing a housing ad, which we have to do. So we can't really change anything in demographics now with a Facebook ad if you're creating that straight on Facebook. So you're getting who it's in from, right? You can't really pick and choose that. What you can do is pick and choose that aspect when you're on the phone with them, right? Like, or if you're calling them and know what's connecting, or if there's a strong language barrier, right? And behavioral indicators. So using analytic tools, you can track behaviors and signify buying intent, such as revisiting the same page twice, multiple times, or spending long times on the payment calculator page. So you really, if you're tracking where they are using your pixels, you can really see what pages they're visiting on, right? Like I get highlights all the time from Follow Boss that someone's visited 123 Main Street 4 times, right? That also, along with like the home value piece, goes into my activity bucket. So now I know when I'm calling that, I'm just calling people that have been on multiple times. My chances of connecting with them are way higher. Right? Any questions around that so far, guys? Nope. All right. So optimizing your landing pages and websites. So it's important if you are sending people to your website, you have a way for them to reach out to you and put their information in. Do you have contact pages, right, where they can put in their information? Do we get a lot of them? Not necessarily, right? I do find that once if you're providing the value before you have the action of them logging in or putting in information, a lot of that is like they kind of go. It's kind of like you said about the open house. If they've done the tour, they'll be gone. See you later, right? So that's where having that sign-in piece ahead of time, where they're actually having to put in their information to get the information that you require is key. So we do get a lot of like partial leads through the landing pages for the Cloud CMA. But then we can go into a different action. High value content offering. So Pool has a seller magazine or a buyer's guide or how to prepare your home to sell. Do you have any of that stuff? Yeah. So that's what we do. Like we have that in our email campaigns as well. So when we're sending out our 10 days of pain and it's emails going out that every day and we're calling and texting every day, they're also getting links to that aspects, right? And then on ads as well, you can download our seller's guide. Right. So that is another piece of just really it's branding and it's getting in front of people again so they can see you, recognize you, and learn to like you. Social media engagement. So that goes down to the content of what you're putting out there for your listings. Are you commenting on it? Are you following up with people as well? Again, email marketing and then webinars and virtual tours. Is anyone doing the buyer webinars or listing webinars? I think you were doing them, were you? Yeah, were you doing webinars? Like a buyer webinar, like we hold a webinar for once a week. No, no. I haven't done those like in a while. I was thinking about reactivating it more on the sell side, right? Because you can build rapport. People are about that year out, right? What were your results? In the I'd say it's 4 years ago, it was pretty decent. Yeah, I haven't done it in about 4 years now. So, what's that?
What made you stop?
COVID, just got too busy.
I don't think the webinars do better.
Yeah, well, we were just too busy, man. Like, I don't know, it's something we should pick up, but it's also another touch point into the database as
You
well.
got really busy, so you stopped.
Yeah, so you stop doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Now you gotta get busy.
Classic.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so once your leads come in, what do you do? I know Jeff, you talked on it, 15 days of paying. We still call it 10 days of paying. I would challenge you to it's not one call, one text, one email for every 10 days. I would say it's 2 calls. So you break out your calls to be a morning call, an evening call, or an afternoon call. A lot of the online leads definitely, you know, they don't answer in the morning, right? So most of them are working or they're night shift workers and sleeping. So calling at different times in the day does help, but also having a text that you send at least once a day and 1 email. So what we've done, you can see that's just a screenshot of our 10 days of paying. It does have 1 email per day. It does have 1 text per day, but in Follow Up Us, you can't automatically send your text. So what we do is we save them as a text template, and then we call, leave a message, and we go to our text template, and each task is labeled like 4th day, send day 4 text, right? So we'll send the day 4 text, and we're not jumping right into adding, like, I guess, asking for information or business. What we're doing is the first couple of days of text, so just like, hey, does email or text work better for you? We're just trying to gauge like where their best mode of communication is, so we can actually follow up in that aspect, right? So we get the most responses like, oh, email's best, right? So now we just start communicating in email. So we've opened it up where they're responding to us, right? But it's important to build out the campaign because it's going to send you, it's going to keep you in the loop of what you're doing. It's going to have a task each day to make that call and send that text. Right? Does anyone have an action plan like this yet? Please, yeah. Is it 10 days or what?
Yeah, we don't do I think we alternate between text and email, so they get called 3 times per day.
Yeah, 3 times, nice.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 of us calling.
Yeah.
We all call the same.
How do you segregate, like, how do you make it so everyone calls? Is it going into a pond or?
So, the guys that I have on my team, they all have admin access.
Oh, nice.
They just can't export feeds.
Yeah.
But upon your other alternative.
Yeah.
Where it's calling them, whoever connects with the lead.
Yeah.
And it's actually able to qualify them, they.
Nice,
And then, yeah, text them.
nice. Yeah, so we do it every day. There's at least 1 text a day that goes, and that's just sent from Follow Up Us, right? So you don't need a service or anything to do that. And are they texting from the same number then, or all the different numbers?
Each have different.
Yeah. Nice.
So the texts all come from the same number, actually, sorry. Whoever, right now, the leads do get assigned at the beginning,
Okay,
so whoever they get assigned to does all.
that's
the
all the texting, okay.
But they're all for grabs, whoever.
Nice.
Person.
Awesome.
Yeah. What kind of like, in terms of the text, you said you're sending texts that are, you know, asking email or text, best, what do you find people respond to? best with
I'd say
text?
text message, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
like
get a lot of mobile numbers now.
Yeah,
Not as many landlines, but I'd say more often than not, we get reply by text. And it works great for nurturing as well. I have a bucket for engaging text as well. So like with Wailopo, we can actually create a custom link that sends them back to what they were searching at. So every time I call them, if it's a nurture, I've already talked to them, I kind of know what they're looking for. And now I'm in that nurture phase, like say they're looking for 2025. I'll do a follow-up call at that 2-month mark. And I just do an engaging text right off the bat. Hey, you know, whatever, good. I haven't talked to you in a month. Just wanted to check in. By the way, found these new properties that came up. And then automatically I get that notification that they're now back on the website, right? So people, they see it, they get it. They may not talk to you about it right away, but they're going back and seeing the listings, right? But more often than not, I get more people messaging me back by text than email right now. So, any questions around the 10 days of paying? Yeah.
How am I reading on the right side of the screen when you have 2 buyers, 3 buyers?
That's just that's the email name for it. It's just that's the name for the template of the email, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the first 3-4 days are very simple, right? Just following up, wanted to see what the best mode of communication is. Let's get a time on the calendar to connect. Yeah. Yeah, and you can get templates on this too. I'm pretty sure like Command has templates. If you don't have any other CRM, Command has templates on there. That would be similar. You can come and ask me, I'm not sure if I can print these off, but I'm sure I can share it with you somehow. Right? To get, the emails and stuff. All right, so nurturing the lead, obviously finding out their preferred channels, regular updates in the calendar and time blocking. I think that's the biggest piece with when it comes to internet leads is do you have time in your calendar to actually call? Because it is a consistency piece, it is a grit piece, like it's staying with the aspect of working on and doing it over time. Because the average time for an online lead to actually transact is about 18 months. Do it quick. So it's about 18 months, right? So a lot of these leads, they may not answer the phone right off the bat. They're going to see that you're calling. They're going to see your text messages and emails. But 6 months down the road, they may just pick up one time and they're ready to go. Or I've had it where they just text me back or email you back. Hey, we're looking at 123 Main Street. Would love to have a conversation. Right? So it's that grit of staying with it and sticking to it, and then getting them on to past the 10 days of pain, getting them onto the 36 touch. Right? That 36 touch is where they're going to start getting then your monthly stat email with the home for the home value link, right? What's going on in the marketplace, right? Our testimonials, client success stories, stuff like that, right? So you start building your brand that way. I'd say that goes right into that next aspect, right? You're adding value, information, blog and articles. So once a month, our main email campaign is that stats and the testimonials and any success stories. Regular check-ins and feedback requests for follow-up. So if you've spoke with them, we categorize so we have a hot list, a nurture 1 and a nurture 2 list. So hot list is 0 to 90 days. Nurture 1 is 90 days to 1 year, and a nurture 2 is the 1 to 2 years out. So that if they're planning on moving in that timeline, we're going to categorize them according to that timeline, right? And then we'll be following up with people different paces according to that timeline, right? So if you're in my hot list, you're probably getting a call once a week, if not twice a week. If I sense that we're getting closer and closer. Right? I should be going in for that's where you're going for an appointment if you're call, right? And if you're in nurture 1, you're once a month. If you're in nurture 2, it's once a quarter. But they're still getting on top of that everything else. They're getting a quarterly mailer from me through our 36 touch. They're getting the monthly email blast, home value stuff, all that. Right? A big piece that I found really beneficial in the last quarter was Home Beats. You guys heard of that one yet? Homebeat is sweet. So it's $100 a year as an agent, and it is through that cloud CMA, and it will literally send them at any intervals that you want. It can send it once a week, it can send it bi-weekly, once a month, quarterly, and it'll literally send them a snapshot of everything that's sold in their neighborhood without you even thinking about it. So I've been putting every single nurture I have onto the Homebeat because now that takes that aspect away of them clicking. That value is getting right into their inbox right off the bat. Right? That's that nurture piece, showing them what's happening and just keeping yourself top of mind. Any questions around that, guys? No?
Yeah, I guess when you're contacting once per month, maybe people are like 9 days to a year.
Yeah.
Market update for them.
Honestly, it's just a touch base.
Yeah.
Hey, we spoke last month, but the thing is, I'm setting that expectation at the end of that call.
Yeah.
Right. Sounds like we're not ready to go yet. Is there anything else holding us back from moving forward? Well, depending on what the reason is. Okay, well, here's what we're going to do next is I'm going to give you a call in another month just to make sure that there's no questions, nothing's changed, just a quick check-in. So with these guys, I'm usually off and on the phone with them, but fairly quickly. But at least it's done. I got it. I've got that reminder in there, and I'm still there to help if they need it. So building trust is that testimonials and transparency, CRM utilization, obviously lead tracking, and then 36 success. So I've kind of covered a lot of that already. We're putting the testimonials and client success stories into our 36 touch emails. Lead tracking goes through our pipelines as well. What I've recently started doing with agents on the team is we actually print off our pipelines every week. I found keeping it like tangible and with you, just a name and a phone number. Right. And now I can see, okay, well, we do a pipeline review right off the bat. We just look at how many people do we have on our hot list, because that's who is the now business. Right. Okay, well, what's happening? My goal with that is to keep everyone so they have like full knowledge on what that is, what's going on in their situation. Okay. They should be able to tell me that, right? We should be able to say, if anyone's in our hot list, I should be able to say exactly why they're moving, exactly when they're thinking about it, and why we haven't met yet. Because that's truly, if you're having a proper conversation, you should be able to say that. Right? Cool, any questions? All right, so speed to lead as a response time. I said 2 minutes, right? That's the Harvard Business Review, is 2 minutes. You want to personalize it and arrange face-to-face meetings. So you have to always ask for that buyer presentation. I've been doing virtual as well. I honestly prefer virtual way more over in person. You have everything at your fingertips on your computer. You have your stats, break over market stats, and that's the intro to every buyer presentation that I do. Is market stats. Let's go over the stats so you guys know what's happening in the marketplace. You can share your screen and it's done. No longer do you have to print everything out, right? They're in the comfort of their home. You're either at your home or you're in your office. It's way easier, right? I think that's where most agents fail with online leads is they never ask for the business or ask for the appointment because that is the next logical step. And most of the time we have one chance at that. I wouldn't say most of the time. I'd say 50% of the time with a lot of online leads, you have one chance at that. If will they answer your calls again next time? If you haven't actually progressed to that meeting like in person or meeting over Zoom, likely not. You fell off the wagon where you didn't actually push through any of the objections to get to that next step of online meeting because that's where the value is going to be added. Right? In that online meeting, you're going to be able to assess their needs and their timeline, the budget considerations, and then you're going to show your educational value.
What's your value proposition? What's your pitch?
It really depends on their motivation, I guess, right? Like I would dive deeper into the motivation in the LPT Mama side.
Yeah.
And that's just going on the market, being, I guess, market professional of guiding them through the path, right? Or there's a lot of changes that happen on a week-to-week basis. Like over this spring, like it was each week, something different was going on in the market. Yeah. And you could tell a different story. So it's just adding that value of what's going on, right? Speed to lead, 2 to 5 minutes. Mastering the conversation. I think we got LPT Mama next. Yeah. Does everyone know what that is? Who doesn't? Yeah. So LPT Mama it's literally a script that we would use to help ask better questions to the people on the phone. And it's literally starting out with location. So, hey, Jeff, saw you were looking online and you were looking at Kitchener and you were specifically looking at Forest Heights. Is there any other areas in Kitchener that you're interested in? Oh, what areas would that be?
All of Kitchener.
All of Kitchener. Okay, great. Right. And then you got to dig a little deeper. And this is where you ask it, like if I go back to the last slide, it's asking better questions. What's important about Kitchener too? Right. You want to try to go 3 deep on this because if you don't get that information ahead of time, you probably won't have a second chance with other leads. Right. So you want to dive deep on what's important about Kitchener too. Maybe is it schools? Is it work? Right? Is it family in the neighborhood? Stuff like that. You want to get that specific with them on the phone. Yeah.
How do you remember to go 3D? You have a question laid out in front of you, that mine most forget.
Yeah, what I typically do, and I haven't had the team do it in a while, and I do have a new guy now, so I probably will, is I actually have them write out questions for each piece. And we script that, right? So like writing out like 10 questions for each part. Right? Why is it? And you can get simple questions like anything else, like, right? You tell me what's important about Foresight. Well, is there anything else? That's still like a going deeper question, right? Yeah.
I'm just going to share this with everybody in the room. This is a critical part of your conversation with everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily it can be this, but diving deep on the questions that you ask and so you're asking them. Because it's that moment where you dive deeper, 3 deep, 4 deep, whatever it looks like, wherever the conversation is going, that you just connect with the person. Yeah, and that's the moment that they feel heard. And the difference between a really good salesperson and a really shitty salesperson is somebody that asks a lot of questions on a deep emotional basis, and somebody who tells a story to somebody. How do you guys feel when someone talks at you? You just want to turn them off, right? You sit back and you listen. You have somebody asking you questions, and they're actually making you think. You get into the emotion of why you're making this move, what's important about it, what's the motivation you've got. That's a big one, right? Through your process. Yeah. And you get into the emotion of it and they feel connected to you because you have the time to get to know them. It doesn't take a lot. It's just being intentional about asking questions.
Yeah. Actively listening.
Yeah.
Is a big piece, right? So then after you got it, before I would move on to price, I would almost repeat what I've heard. Right? Hey, is there anything else? This is what I've heard. I've heard that you're interested in Forest Heights. You want to be there because your family's in the neighborhood. You guys are having a new baby and you want that support in the next 6 months. Is that right? Is there anything else? No. Okay, great. Let's talk about price. You were looking at a home for 850,000. Is that what you guys can afford right now, or is that what you want to spend? Right, okay, well, what's important about keeping it at 850,000? Right, literally, you can ask the same going deeper questions each time, but you're showing your professionalism by doing so. Right, most of the time, if this is done properly, you don't even really need to do a pre-qual for your buyer's appointment. And if anyone doesn't know what a pre-qual script is, like ask me or ask Mel, we have them, or ask Jeff, like we have them. Guarantee we all have them. You don't have them?
Oh, no, I have them written somewhere, but
Yeah.
I naturally just ask. I don't.
Yeah. And then naturally, you don't really need it if you're doing this properly, right? Like if you're doing this right, you won't really need it. There's only a few other questions that you would choose to ask, I think, before going for the appointment or after setting the appointment. So price, obviously, that's the big piece there, is asking if they've been qualified by a mortgage broker, especially on the buyer lead side, obviously. I always ask for a second opinion too, because I typically don't like sending people, or I have other hiccups that come involved with who, and there's other mortgage brokers that are involved that I don't typically know. Right, so I always ask for them to have a second opinion. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Right, it is what it is. Agent, you're asking them if they've are working with an agent currently, if they've currently signed a contract, what have they done with this agent? How has it went? Right, like that, if depending on where the questions went, right?
They get value that they expect to get out of that agent.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the mortgage side, oh, sorry, I missed motivation. I switched that up. So motivation, that's the biggest piece. Stay there as long as you possibly can until you have every bit of information that you need. I think that's the biggest piece is motivation when it comes down to it, right? And they won't tell you everything. This is why you have to ask the open-ended questions, right? And it may be even going into the negative side of things of like, hey, what happens if we don't get you into that house in that next 6 months and you guys have your baby and you're not close to family? What happens then? Right? You're almost framing them in an aspect of like, okay, they don't think that way, right? Because it may not happen if they don't pick the right agent, or if they don't pick an agent at all, right? And then going for the appointment. Closing, I don't know, closing's pretty simple. I think people make closing way too hard when it comes down to it. I think they convolute it and they try to make it too wordy. It's literally naturally, like if you've went down this aspect of LPT Mama, actually T isn't in there. T would be for time, same thing, when you want it to happen. Naturally, this is how my close would go, is naturally, hey, I've heard a lot of what you want to accomplish here. I think the next step is that we meet in person. What do you think about a Zoom meeting? All right, that's it. So any questions around that? No?
The agent.
Agent is if they're working with an agent. Yeah. Working with an agent or have an agent in their life somewhere, family friend or anything like that they've done business with in the past.
Make sure to clarify.
Yeah. Consistency over time, that's honestly, I think that when it comes down to online leads, that is the biggest thing. Your follow-up, you will literally go, some leads you'll go through for 6 months to a year where they will not answer your phone for 12 months in a row, but they will literally pick up the phone on that 12th call and say, wow, you follow up or you call me every single month like you said you were going to, and we're now ready to go and we're ready to list our home, right? Or they reach out to you or they call you back, right? So the consistency piece is key. It does pile up depending on what you're spending. I think the biggest thing that I've seen over doing online leads now for 8 years, like you get like 9,000-10,000 contacts in your database, right? And you can't even manage to get through them all, right? And there's some that are obviously in the pools and stuff that aren't even qualified and stuff like that, right? So you got to really dial in on the people who are qualified, right? So then you get into that piece of like, maybe you slow it down and you just stick into your nurture ones and nurture twos that are the people that have already expressed that aspect that you're looking to make that move in the next year or two. Yeah. Honestly, that's pretty much it. Like marketing or managing, like if we go into cost per click, like right now, I don't necessarily do cost per click. I'm like cost per lead. If I look at Lopo, I'm probably spending about 23 or 24 bucks a lead right now. Does that sound about what you guys are? Yeah. If we look at Facebook, we're like maybe $2 or $3. But I do find that Facebook is a lot less quality per se. Yeah. I feel like people are just scrolling, right? And I do find the older generation is what we get. But people are just scrolling, right? And they click and they go, and yes, it's building a database, right? And
I'd say their timeline's closer to like the year.
or like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Downsizing in 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
What's all-
When I retire in 10 years, that's exactly it. So we look at that conversion rate. Like I think so if I look at last year, we were probably about 1.5%. I find a lot like over COVID, our conversion rates went quite a bit down. We were up to 3% like in 2019 and 2020. We were at 3% for our agent locator leads. I think we did around 36 transactions between Graham and I just on agent locator leads.
What's your cost? Oh, sorry, the GCI generated.
Oh, I don't know there's probably about like 12K an average transaction there. So
Cost.
36 times the cost to get it.
Yeah.
I was probably spending about 2K a month. It's 24K. Yeah, 100%. That was
6 deals in a year.
that was 1 year. That was our highest conversion. It was 2.7% for that 1 year.
No agent locators.
Yeah. Agent locators went up though, like over COVID, their cost per lead was reaching like $60.
And the market's just saturated with companies
100%.
doing lead generation.
Yeah.
That it's more people could see.
Absolutely. And that's where I'm moving off of the lead generation sites like that. I'm more doing it on my own now.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. but
Yeah.
It's a group conversation.
Yep, absolutely.
So you're going down the path of creating your own PDF website. I don't know if you've done that.
I haven't done it yet, no.
You started exploring that. So
Yeah.
So are you now looking at that creating notes follow up from my little boat getting off there?
Yes. Yes. That would be the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm probably around like $1,200 US or Canadian just to be on the system.
Right.
Right. And then you got your cost for marketing and everything on top of it. So what I've done with Kyle, he set up like a search landing page. So you can actually set up different price point landing pages through command. And then you can use Facebook to market to people to that. Right. So if you're looking for downsizers, do a search on command just for bungalows that are in the prices of like 700 to 900,000. Right. That page will be up forever and it'll automatically new populate. Right. So, and then you can have lead capture set on that as well. Right. So what I'm working through now is just switching from command to follow up boss for the lead process. Right. Like getting them into follow up boss right away, which I need to talk to him about. I think there is.
Zapier.
What's that? Zapier?
Zapier,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Voted them.
It already is.
Facebook ads that you're putting.
Facebook ads. Yeah. That'll be it. Yeah. I haven't started running them yet, but the pages are all set up.
She's creating landing pages.
Yes.
Based on certain categories.
Yeah.
That's what they intend.
Yeah. And then piece is there too is what are people doing right now, right? Look at the market trends. What I feel is a lot of downsizers haven't downsized since COVID, right? There's a lot of older generation people that have been holding on to the homes, not really knowing what to do because the market was so nuts over the last 4 years. That's where we're starting to target on that side, right? And then the home and house side. So we're taking more of a downsizing approach to that and getting people into the system that way. And from the looks of it, we'll be saving a ton of money from just on that cost for the platform cost, right? Like $1,200 a month minimum, but then we don't I don't even know what my local charges for our ad spend, right? Because agent locator was like it was over 30%, it was like 36. I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I pulled back.
Your wife knows.
Yeah. We don't.
So to clarify, when you say doing it yourself, creating your own landing pages with lead magnets, running the ad through a platform like Command.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Like I use the command for the landing page side,
Yeah.
right? But I'm like, my Facebook doesn't align with Facebook's or it's the commands thing. So I can't post through command. Yeah. It's been a thing. We've tried to figure it out for like 6 months. It's been a thing. So that's why we're doing our own kind of landing page, our own Facebook advertising. The other piece too is, you can create a custom audience on Facebook. So if you have, I have like 10,000 people in my database. So I'm exporting that and I'm creating a custom audience for that. And then making sure you pixel everyone so you can then retarget that. Right. So you can pixel your sites. I can pixel each landing page. I can pixel my site. And then I can have that as an audience trigger. So that if I want to put out, say, a home value ad or even just a branding ad, I can have my audience be that pixel audience. So anyone that's been on that's been on that pixel in the last 6 months, or anyone that's seen any of my other ads in the last 6 months as well. Right. So that's how you start to create that audience and you stay in front of people. Right. Does that make sense?
So when you're saying pixel your site, do you mean pixel it on Facebook or from Google?
If Kyle, you're there, can you turn that up a little bit? Can I? What's that, David?
When you say pixel your site, do you pixel it from Facebook pixel or Google?
It'll be a Facebook pixel. You can do Google as well. I
Okay.
was just setting up Google. Google's more for conversion though. I guess where's the mic? Yeah. Google's more for conversion. Like if you're looking at what people do on your website, the Google side will be able to show you like the activity piece, like where they go, what they do, where do they not convert, where do they convert, right? So Google will be good for that. The Facebook pixel will literally, if they land on anything that's attached to, you can then put something in front of them, right? For however long.
Do that with the Google as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was looking at the conversion side, but I haven't set it up yet. Still working on that one.
I want to reach out to the conversions, kind of trying to set up. but
Is it?
They'll book a call with you and like walk you step by step.
Yeah.
What to do.
You're
Yeah.
paying for that, or it's
No, it's
complimentary?
great. It's all.
I clicked the link to sit like for optimization because I just set one up this week too, and I clicked the link for someone to message me or call me on it.
So those people will just try to get you to create ads and spend money. I find they're not as good, but they
Yeah.
will get you in touch with somebody to help you set up like all your tracking and stuff. They have a good team for that.
Yeah.
I find those people that are there to help you or literally there to just sell you products. That's
Okay.
right. They
You have
might
to spend
help
more
with
money.
some stuff, but I found they're not, like I knew way more than the guy that was trying to help me.
Really?
I probably know more than
Yeah.
some
Just
people.
go
but-
see George.
Yeah. If you want to talk to me, you can, but there's better sites. WordStream is really good for getting training, but that is paid.
WordStream?
WordStream, so that it's like a weekly call with the guy that's like dedicated to your.
Oh, nice.
Probably set your admin up to do that.
Really? Yeah.
Pay money, but like they go through it.
And they'll train you?
Your ads. Look at this data weekly, it's like what's converting, where should be increased bidding. things like that.
Is that for just Google?
I think they do Facebook. as
Facebook?
well. I've only ever used. I don't
Okay.
use it anymore, but I did mine first.
Yeah. WordStream?
WordStream.
Okay. If anyone didn't hear that, it's WordStream is a company that will kind of walk you through on a weekly basis of setting up and managing Google and potentially Facebook. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I really only have to like the targeting best practices. So based on our like if you're doing a home value ad, you may be able to do different income levels and ages and stuff like that. If you're advertising just a listing on Facebook, you cannot change anything. Your ad will get rejected and it just it'll be held up. That's the housing special ad category. And I only thought it was for the states, but it affected everyone, right? Because like you cannot post anything and have any kind of changes to the age or incomes or any demographics. Otherwise, it's discriminatory at this point. So, right? Because if we're aiming it to higher income, which would make sense, right? If we're listing a $1.5 million house, but an 18-year-old's not going to buy that house, but we can't disclose, we can't keep them back from the information, right? Before too, what I would do for interest before, like even I think now on the home value side, you could do home improvement, right? So who's been following realtor.ca, who's been following Home Depot, who's been visiting, like other renovation stuff, like home renovations and stuff like that. Those likely are the people that are getting ready to sell, right? Or thinking about that aspect. They're improving their home currently, right? So I would target interest like that on home value ads and stuff like that as well. Any questions at all, guys? That's pretty much all I have. I know we're early, so I'm all right with that. Yeah.
Curious about the age group of the demographic that are downsizing.
You'd be like 55, 60 plus probably. Yeah. Yeah. And that's, you can only really do like a home value add to that, right? Or branding. It's like you can do branding awareness for that. And then look at your income levels as well too, right? You can narrow it down that way a little bit as well. Yeah.
What would you say your percentages are responses on text and responses?
If I had to do a guess on responses via text and responses via email, I'd probably say we're 50%. I'd have like 45% on text, and probably 30% of email. Yeah. And we got a high open rate though. Like if we look at our 36 touch emails that go out, our open rates are like 55, 60%. That proves on those as well. Yep. Yeah, because that's where like so we've been put in play. We don't do the video stream thing that you do. We just put it on YouTube. We have a private account for YouTube, and then we put our stat video on that, and then we have it click through on it. So yeah, we get clicks. Our event emails get like 90% opens, and then we have click throughs on that. So if we always do a kind of a recap of the event. So we just did another social over at Proof Kitchen and Lounge. And we had great response. We had about 26 people out. And then even on the recap email, we have James Laker did a video for us and a bunch of pictures, and a ton of people clicked through that as well.
Yeah. Using for sending out your events.
Follow Up Boss. SendGrid on Follow Up Boss, it's seamless, man. Like I used to use another one, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, MailChimp. It's just an exterior thing, like SendGrid is right in Follow Up Boss, and you literally just send a batch in. Yeah, it's an automation into Follow Up Boss. Yeah, and you literally send it right through that.
Follow-up calls, batch emails are, it's like 10,000 or something.
Yeah, so if you go on SendGrid, you can send unlimited for sure, right?
So you're gonna take any emails you've made on other softwares and bring it in, like with HTML code or an iframe?
That I don't know.
Mailchimp wasn't able to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, that I don't know. I think it might just be an email that's on Follow Up Boss. It's just coming from that. So that's the beautiful part, is I say all my team members, like we send an email blast, it comes from them directly, right? So it'll send from Graham, from Trevor, or not Trevor, from Mark, right? From myself. So we get personalized responses as well too. So it's like we're sending that.
So is your signature already have in place?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So it's using all of our original signatures. Yeah. Way easier. You don't have to set up another piece of tool, like another piece of tech, stuff like that. You could do 6,000. Yeah.
And are those emails written by yourself or by email?
Oh, no. Kendra, my director of operations would write it. She does some AI in there, but like we're using AI as a tech tool to maybe summarize the monthly stat, right? Like we'll take that monthly stat piece and we'll upload it into AI and get a summary on it, and then use that more as at a lower level of communication, right? Like not a lower level, but like we just dumb it down a bit so it's not so much of the numbers and stuff like that, and just make it more communicative.
So but the body of the email, the content, it'll still sound.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming from the person.
Yep. Yeah, depending on what we're in there, right? But a client success story, we're not automating that. What's happened in the last month, that's that target stat. Testimonials just copied from the testimonials, right? So and then our home value, like it's just hey, click here, get a free home valuation or get a free market report. And then let us know if you want to chat. So
what is your loss rate recognition?
Unsubscribed?
Yeah.
I'd say like ongoing right now, we're about 5. So if we send about 6,000, I think, per month right now. And we're about 5 people unsubscribe on each one of that. So it's pretty low.
First started was higher.
Oh, way higher. You're not sending value, like, right? We weren't sending videos for a while. Then we were doing videos. Then we stopped, and it went up after not doing videos. So we started videos again, providing the value of like the testimonial piece of what happens or recaps around our events. We get very little on that, right? I would say where we got the most, and we actually talked about it this morning, was like new listing emails. You blast a listing email into your database, and and depending on how many listings you take, and you do that 5 times a month. So many people unsubscribe.
Same with Facebook now. too.
Yeah.
Definitely the
Unsubscribe.
highest one.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So we actually just talked about it this morning, is maybe do we start that up again and just do the source of our online leads?
Right.
Do we send them new listing lead, like emails, right? I think, maybe we can tie it into the monthly email. Right? We have it on our website. What's that?
How many do you send?
Emails? We won for sure of our stats.
Sorry, I meant on a weekly basis.
Oh, on a weekly basis?
Yeah, 1 week, say about 6,000.
No, I would say we're 2 a month, depending on what we do. If we have an event that month, then we're sending another 2 to 3 that month. Right? We're doing one event a quarter right now. So I'd say you're on average about 2 a month that they're getting.
Your mailer platform that you're gonna get 36 touch. Process, or is it just?
So I use Reach. So most for events and stuff, I'll text my whole past clients in my personal database. They get like a personal text from me.
Does Reach sync with follow-ups?
No.
Right.
No, it's just in my cell phone, right? But the piece of it is it's a personalized text where I don't need to go and copy and paste each one. I could have my VA copy and paste a text into Follow Boss if that was the case. But the mailing side, they're getting like we're doing a mid-year review mailer in June, and that's like a newsletter. So like 11, is it 8 by 11 or it's a little bit bigger, 8 by 15 or so, like a newsletter that's kind of what's happened in the market. Give a little bit of stats, some client success stories on that as well, and pictures of our events. And that goes out to, I think we're around 4,000 people within the database, and then the farm area gets that as well. So,
So how many touches are you at?
oh, we're probably around like 65 or 70. Because like each event we're at least 3, right? And then you have the event, right? And then your 12 for your follow-up or for your emails per month, and then quarterly calls, and then for actual physical mailage per year as well. Yeah,
Are you inviting everybody to your events, like even if you haven't met face to face?
certain ones. Yeah, we're doing a movie night where we'll put that out to everyone. We did a social, we did like last year when we started the socials, the second social we put out to everyone. And we did have like some people come through that like literally were just there to like pillage shit. Like literally filling their purse with like appetizers and hats and stuff like that. So we we held off on the last social. We just did past clients only. And we saw a really good turnout. We had like 26 people, like 30 people come through. We called the whole database before. They got texted, they got emails, right? So like there was a good turnout for what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions?
Well, so we're really great at cleaning and absorbing the knowledge. Where we're focusing as a company, and I would say as an agent-based implementation, so there's one thing that we implement, what is it?
If there's one thing that you implement, what would it be? I would say like, and it's what I go through now is just having a clear vision and implementing that aspect. With so much that we do, and there's so much shit that goes on within real estate, like having that vision and sticking to it is can be hard, and especially as you go through the ups and downs of the market. So revisiting the vision side, I'd say at least each quarter of the year, and getting clear on what you really want. Right. That's what I'm going through right now, is because I didn't revisit it, right? Like that side. So, yeah. Cool.
Well, thank you, Jerry. That was amazing.
No problem.